Hello and welcome to what Total Drama slash Disventure Camp finalist would make the best winners, where that's exactly what we're going to be doing. This is the last video in the batch of videos I've recorded on Monday, but I don't know if this is either going to premiere Wednesday or Thursday. I haven't decided yet. Um, but how this is going to work is I've gotten every single finalist, which we'll go through them all in a second. And I've got the tiers worst case scenario, meaning that almost anyone, not literally the worst case scenario, but almost anyone on your season could have been better than you, or is better than you. If you are just someone who's obviously not canon, like Shake or Ali, for example. Bad is bad, meh, pretty good, and great are all pretty self-explanatory. And best case scenario means that you're within like the 2 or 3 best possible scenarios. So when we come down here, we we have for total drama. It's pretty obvious for most of these. We have like Gwen and Owen. I have the person I think isn't the canon winner before the person I think is the canon winner, because I think Owen's the canon winner, Duncan's the canon winner. Let's talk about Cody. Now you might be wondering why Cody is here, especially when Anastasia isn't. And the reason Cody is here is because he was promoted in the old promotionals for the End of Total Drama World Tour. He was promoted as a finalist. So if they consider him a finalist, I'll consider him a finalist. Obviously, Alejandro, Heather, Lightning, Cameron, Mike, Zoe. Yes, I think Zoe's the canon winner. Sky, Sean, Jeff, and Brody to MacArthur and Sanders. There we go. Bowie and Priya, Caleb, Julia, and Wayne all definitely count. And then Ellie, Fiore, Miriam, Aiden, Rhea, James, Ali, Jake, Rhea. I had to add a second Rhea. And then Jade and Logan. I didn't include Anastasia just because that whole vote and everything feels very obviously like different from the finale. So I decided to not include Anastasia. But if you did want my thoughts of where Anastasia would go, she'd probably go in the pretty good tier. So let's go ahead and get started with what if Gwen was 100% confirmed the canon winner of Total Drama Island. I'm actually going to say that this is in the best case scenario. I don't think there's many other endings where Gwen is like overtaken as who would be the best winner. Heather, I think, works better as the winner of season 3 and getting 3rd place. Maybe you can make an argument for someone like Duncan, but I wouldn't. I think Lashana is definitely up there. But I think overall Gwen definitely feels like the main character and honestly the best case scenario. This is, by the way, not influenced by my personal opinions on the characters for the most part. I'll at least try. There are a few characters, though, that will be Jake. Now, as for Owen, I think Owen's pretty good. I think that he definitely works as a first winner, as someone who's definitely like the mascot. He's got the comedic relief, the appeal to the kids, right? But I don't think from a lore standpoint he's the best. I think he's actually probably the worst of the final 5 to get the win. But I still like his win. I'm not against his win. I understand his win, and I believe it's the canon one. But I think that Gwen just is better, in my opinion, quite a bit. But then we come to probably the worst final 2 in any of the seasons. Guys, I love Total Drama Action. Actually, wait, that might not be true. But I love Total Drama Action. But holy crap, did they fumble so hard. Like, they could have had Harold Lindsay finale, which would have been so peak, so amazing. But instead they settled for Beth, who was a nothing burger who barely did anything all season and is boring. Or Duncan, the person who was basically just like all he did until he was a victim of Courtney was bully Harold. Like I could have seen a Duncan Harold finale, but yeah, I've ended up going with the fact that I think Duncan is the canon winner. But honestly, I think they both. I'm gonna go ahead and put Duncan and Beth in worst case scenario because I believe that if you wrote almost any of the other characters into this spot, I think they'd be better. Hell, I think Courtney would be better. Anyone except like Owen winning a second time. I think that would be terrible. But I think both of them. I'm gonna put Duncan slightly above Beth, but both of them are terrible winners. Even though I really do like Duncan's character. As for Cody, I would have felt very meh about it Meh means like, yeah, I'm not mad about your win, but there was very obviously people that were better. And Alejandro and Heather just feel so much better than Cody, to the point where I just don't see a world where him winning World Tour would be nearly as satisfying. But it wouldn't be bad. He did get a little carried though. Alejandro, I'm going to put as a great winner. I don't think he's best case scenario because of Heather. But I think that as the villain and as probably the gameplay wise, one of, if not the best character in Total Drama when it comes to gameplay, he's the best at the game. I think he definitely fits this as a great winner. He would be a great first villain winner. Kind of like the Rhea of Total Drama. And I could see a world where that's good, but I mean, if you watch his alternate ending, it's so weird and clunky. It doesn't really make sense that she just accidentally does it. It feels so cheap, to the point where you can tell they were very obviously trying to make Heather the canon winner here. Which is exactly why I think the Heather is still the undisputed best finalist out of everyone here. She 100% deserves her win. And I think that, like, it's literally perfect in my opinion. I don't think anyone on World Tour comes close, outside of maybe Alejandro himself, to being worthy of that finalist spot like Heather does. But then we have Lightning. And Lightning's win, as much as I like Lightning, I think I'd have to go pretty bad, because Lightning really didn't do anything except be comedic relief until like the last 3 episodes where he randomly locked in and became a little bit of a villain. And then, I mean, again, like, it feels so cheap when Lightning wins compared to Cameron's, which just makes so much more sense, to the point where I might have to put Lightning's win in bad. Maybe I'll move it up to meh. I'll move it up to meh, because it is a little shocking. But I'm not even going to put it above Cody's. I don't think it's great at all. But as for Cameron, I think Cameron is pretty good. I think he's a little obvious, especially once you get to like where there's like pretty much nobody except for Zoe and Cam, as well as Joe, Scott, and Lightning. And it was pretty obvious it was going to either be Cody, Cameron, or Zoe. But I think that it definitely still fits. He's kind of forgettable, in my opinion. He always has been. Just mainly because I never really use him in any of my videos. But I think Cam does definitely fit as a winner for this season. But then we come to Mike/Mal. I'm going to go ahead and say that I am a lot higher on Mal than most people. I think most people love the concept, just think it's executed terribly. And while I think it was executed pretty bad, I still like it. And I think that I'm going to go ahead and have a Mike Mal win. Okay, I gotta be honest with myself, though. It's still bad. Because, like, if we're comparing it to who actually should have won the season, which is Courtney, instead of getting BS'd out of it, it should have been like a Courtney Scott finale, or honestly, if we're doing a full rewrite, like a Courtney Lindsay finale. But I think that, yeah, Mike/Mal, I like his arc, but even against Zoe, he's not the best. And I think he is pretty bad. He's not worst case scenario. That'd be like if Sam won. But then we go to Zoe, who I'm actually going to put in meh. I think she's fine as a winner. I believe she's the canon winner. But I just, again, like, there's so much better options that they could have done there. But not too much else to say. So we move on to Sky, who I think is literally the definition of meh. Sky just is, like, that's her whole thing for me. Sky is just meh. Just a 5 out of 10. Not bad, not good, just their character. And she's a finalist. So I think that Sky will probably be the mediator of every other finalist on this season. So, or on this video. So I think that, yeah, I mean, she's fine. She earned her win, I guess. But Sean is definitely the better winner. I actually think Sean might have to go in best case scenario. If you look at the Pahkitew Island cast, unless you're doing a full rewrite to give Sammy a better reason to win, I think Sean beats Jasmine in pretty easily beats everybody else. I could also see a world where if Scarlet was developed better, Scarlet is a villain win. I would like that. But overall, I'm going to have to put Sean in best case scenario if we're just going off of everyone with their arcs, how they are right now. Now, for the Redonkulous race, I originally said Jeff and Brody were my canon winners, but I have to think about plot relevancy and not just the fact that I really like Jeff. Because it really doesn't make sense for Jeff and Brody to win because they came back to the game. I also don't think either of them are going to go in best case scenario because best case scenario is Emma and Kitty, who really should have won Redonkulous race in my opinion. So I'm actually going to put these two at the back of meh tier. I don't really think they're like terrible, but I don't think they're great. And then as for Marcus, what the hell? Sorry, people are going crazy outside or downstairs right now. So yeah, my mind got a little out of it for a second. But for MacArthur, there we go, and Sanders, I'm gonna go ahead and put them. I'll put them in great. I think they're great winners for the Redonkulous race. I think they're almost best case scenario, but I think there are a few teams that go above them. I would have rather the Goths, maybe even the Ice Dancers, Emma and Kitty for sure. Even maybe an Owen and Noah, father and son. But I think they're pretty great winners. Bowie. So now we've gotten the characters that we know just don't even have winning endings. Well, outside of like Cody, so far. So for Bowie, I think Bowie would serve as a pretty great winner. I would go ahead. Do I put him above Alejandro? I don't think I put him above Alejandro. But I mean, like, he's the main villain. He's a lot less predictable to win. Actually, is he though? I'd say this final two is the most. Yeah, I'll bring Priya up here as well and put her at the bottom of pretty good, and I'll put Bowie probably also here because I think that's the main problem with them is these two are the safest, most predictable options. If you look at Priya from episode 1, it's pretty obvious she's going to at least make final 2. And Bowie is the token gay character, which, while he is a great character, that also does mean he's very obviously going to make it very far, especially when it's total drama and not Disventure Camp, where there's like 30 of those a season. So I think that they were both pretty predictable, but let me go ahead and put them above you. I kind of like Bowie winning a little more than Priya, but I think they're pretty much equal. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep it like that. Then we have Caleb, which to be honest is another meh. I'm gonna put this right behind or right in front of Zoe. It would have been funny to see him win and ditch Priya, but I think that it's just he didn't do enough outside of Priya to really earn it, outside of being like a comp threat. He's a little boring, but I like him still. And I think, yeah, it would have been fine, but there's a lot of better contenders. As for Julia, I know Julia's biggest problem is her off-screen shenanigans, but that's mainly because we only got 13 episodes, freaking Fresh TV. But I actually think Julia would have been best case scenario for the season 2 reboot. I don't think there's anyone else you could really say is better in my opinion, outside of maybe Lauren, because she's my favorite character in all of Total Drama, along with Ezekiel. By Lauren, I'm talking about Scary Girl. If you don't know her actual name, it's that. Now, I need to really wrap this up because my throat is really starting to hurt from recording all these videos. But next up, we have Wayne. And I think Wayne, you would expect me to put him in meh, but I'm actually going to put him in pretty good. I think he's a little unexpected. I think he's the evolution of Owen. He's better than Owen. So I'm going to go ahead and put him right there. I know some people hated it, but I like it. I don't think he's the worst case scenario by far. But then we have Ellie. Moving on to Disventure Camp. I'm going to go ahead and put Ellie actually in the best case scenario tier. And I'm actually going to put Ellie above Sean and... yeah, actually above Gwen as well. Guys, I think Ellie 100% deserved to win. I think she still deserves a win. She's doing a bit better after Tom Jake, but if she won season 1, I think that it would have just made the most sense from, and I wanted to say from a writing standpoint, because I think all three finalists share about equal sense, but with her goals and what she wants to do, and she's still mortally ambiguous, to say the least, I think she would have been a great winner. Fiore is also going to go in best case scenario. I love Fiore. She's my favorite character in Disventure Camp, so there's a little bit of that bias, but I think that she definitely would have worked as a good villain winner, and I think having a villain winner as your first season would definitely catch a lot of people off guard. However, I'm not going to put her as high as Ellie, because I think having a morally ambiguous character definitely fits Disventure Camp more. But then we get to what's probably my hottest take of the video, which is going to be Miriam. And for Miriam, I'm going to go ahead and honestly put her here. I mean, yeah, she did stuff with, like, Jake throughout the season, which I'm putting my hate aside for Jake when I say this. And she helped quite a few people, and it's kind of cool to see the youngest versus the oldest contestant and all that. And she's a fine winner, but she's just so mid, in my opinion, to the point where I really just don't care about her, and I don't think I think she's a way worse winner than Ellie and Fiore. She is my second least favorite winner of Disventure Camp so far. We'll get to you, but I think, yeah, no, I don't really hate it, but I don't really like it. As for Aiden, so I don't know why I just clapped when I did that. I actually think Aiden is going to go in the bottom. Actually, I'm going to put him at the top of great. I think he's the third best possible winner. I would have liked Rosa or Hunter more, but oh, do I put him in best? I might actually put him. I'm gonna put him in great. I just like him winning over James a little bit more, but I still like James winning. As for Rhea winning season 2, I actually think that would have been pretty bad, just because she hadn't finished her arc yet, to where I think that, well, I don't know if I'm going to say bad. I'll put her like here behind Lightning. She really needed her season 3 to really flesh out her arc before she got that dub, which we'll talk to in a second, but I don't think she should have won season 2. For the actual winner of season 2, though, I'm going to go ahead and put James. I'll put him at the bottom of pretty good. Actually, both Owen and Wayne, and Priya, and Bowie. So actually at the top of pretty good, because, yeah, I'm not going to put him above Cameron. I think that he works. I think he's the worst of the final 5, similar to Owen, but I think he works even more so than Owen. The worst to win, by the way. But then we get on to Allie and Jake, who I'm going to put at the same time. And guys, I honestly might want to apologize to Duncan and Beth, because if either of these two won, that would have been the worst case scenario. That would have been just horrible. I actually think Allie winning wouldn't be like, I mean, it would have been the worst case scenario, but it wouldn't have made me like actually lose my mind. So I might move her up. In fact, I will move her up. I'll move her up just above Beth. But Jake, I firmly believed that Jake was going to win season 3 instead of Rhea. And if Jake won season 3, I would have quit the show. I'm dead serious. I literally was fully planning to quit the show. And I was fully planning to just never watch it again. So I'm very glad Jake didn't, because I would not be where I am today making this YouTube channel if it weren't for Disventure Camp. And if it were for Rhea winning. Which, I'm going to try to not put that bias on Rhea. But also, Rhea is one of my favorite characters in all of Disventure Camp. I'm going to put her right here. I think she is, well, actually, let me calm down a little. I think she is easily the best possible winner for DC3 outside of maybe Alec and Gret. But I don't care what anyone says. I love Rhea's win. It's so amazing. It's so well done. And it's such a relief that it wasn't Allie or especially Jake. But we come to our final 2 of the video with Jade and Logan. And I think if Jade won, I'm going to put her at the Not the top of great, but right below Aiden. I think that I can't put her in best case scenario because I think that Isabel would have been easily a better winner. But then again, outside of Isabel, I think Jade probably is the best. Maybe Hannah as well. I could see maybe even a world where Benji locks in, but I think that she would have been a great winner, very good strategic winner with amazing goals, the best kind of representation, which is the one where just, yeah, I have it, let's move on. Just a great winner. But instead, we have Logan. Now, due to what happened to Jake, with me literally going to quit the show if he won, I am going to put Jake below Logan. But I probably shouldn't. Because while Jake is my least favorite character in all of fiction, at least you can start to make an argument for why characters like Allie are worse winners. I don't think so, but you can make that argument. While Logan, I firmly believe, has the worst, literal worst case scenario. The only person I can maybe stretch to see an argument for is, oh, my throat hurts, is Diego. But even then, I think Alicio's better, Amelie's better, Ted is better, Tristan's better, Diego still better. I think Ivy, Zayd, Benji, Jade, oh, bars. Let me just scroll down here and read them out. Spencer, Richard, Natalia, Marissa, Linda, Isabel, Hannah, all of them. All of them would have been better. Literally all of them. It makes literal zero sense for Logan to win this season from a writing standpoint. And it was only, and I mean only, done because of Jared's favoritism. I firmly believe that a dumbed down Anastasia and Jade in that final five, and they let Logan win. Because there is no way in hell, after that stupid Zayd vote, Logan should have stayed. Even before then, that Zayd vote should have never happened. It should have been Logan. Logan is literally the worst case scenario, and I hope I never see either of those two idiots at the bottom of my screen ever again. But because Jared still runs this show, I know I will. And Logan will probably get the next spinoff. But overall, that's my list. I think that's a great list. I think that I don't really have much else to add. I want to change anything, but I want to know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think Logan's the best case scenario? Do you think Heather and Ellie are the worst? I guess just go comment down below. I'm going to go get a cup of water because I really need to. And then I'll edit this and release it. But freaking everyone is yelling outside my door right now. I don't know what's going on. So I'll probably go check that out as well. But that's pretty much all I have to say. So until next time, see ya.